And I want to go to Peter Schrager, who is now joining us, Fox Sports NFL reporter. You know, it's funny. On paper, the Jets' schedule looks easy. Not a lot of great quarterbacks. But night games, international games, short week games, I'm like, boy, did the NFL manipulate that puppy. It's like, it's just a lot of weird time zone time. What did you make of the Jets' schedule?
They have more primetime games than any other team in football. That includes the Kansas City Chiefs. And this is a team that had the top 10 pick. It's wild. But I spoke to Mike North, who is part of the schedule committee at the NFL. And I spoke to him this morning at length. And what he said was like, the Jets kind of owe us one. Thinking about last year, how much input they had and how much investment they had with Hard Knocks and all this. And then if you ever thought the NFL was scripted, I promise you, the last thing the NFL wanted was to lose Aaron Rodgers 4 snaps into the 2023 season. So now they're going to load up the front of the schedule with the New York Jets. And there is an expectation that Rodgers is healthy, that this is the number 1 media market in the world, and that same story that kept us afloat last year with Hard Knocks and all the hype and all the expectations is going to carry over to this year. And all the different networks are going to share with it, and that Aaron Rodgers is going to bring returns not only in ratings, but in potentially a winning Jets football team. The NFL shows their cards a little bit by who they put on early on in the season and who they promote in these primetime games. And my takeaways are the NFL is a lot higher on the Jets, a lot higher on the Texans, and a lot higher on the Cincinnati Bengals than maybe us in the media and the fans at home are going into this season.
You know, it's interesting. The Chiefs' schedule, the Chiefs are good, and when you win the Super Bowl, you get a tougher schedule. I kind of feel like they're one of the few guarantees where they're just going to be good at the end. I mean, they're young, they're young defense. Kelsey proved it last year with Mahomes. If they have an issue, they solve it. Did you make anything substantial out of the Chiefs' opportunity to go for a three-peat, never done in the NFL history?
Yeah, it's interesting. So out of the gates, you have them obviously on Thursday night, but then you have them in this game against the Bengals in week 2. And then Fox has some awesome Chiefs games. And you look at it down the line, they're not only on Christmas, but they're on Black Friday and they're on the Saturday before Christmas. So those are standalone windows. The Chiefs got a lot of it. What is interesting is week 11 at Buffalo. Why is that interesting? Taylor Swift will be playing in Toronto that same week. Is the NFL that cutthroat and that smart in their programming to say we're going to give them the Chiefs at Buffalo to even get a chance to have Taylor Swift in the building? That's a CBS game. It's just in that right spot of the season where it's the playoff picture's trying to form. I asked Mike North from the NFL. He said that is a complete coincidence. I am calling BS. I think they did that purposely because Taylor Swift is in Toronto and there's a chance that we can get her in the building that day.
That is interesting. I also thought the Chargers, listen, Harbaugh off a natty at high-profile Michigan. The Harbaugh brothers back is a huge story, both in the AFC. I looked at that Charger schedule, and I'm like, if I could have picked 2 games to give Jim a 2-0 start, come on. That felt strategic. Carolina in the home game against the Raiders, don't they want Harbaugh to be 2-0?
Yeah, it sounds like those are 2 winnable games, right? And they get a nice push. Now, I thought there'd be a chance that they would go Thanksgiving night. They would do Ravens-Chargers because it's the Har Bowl and it's family and all this. They actually gave them a Monday night game against the Ravens in week 12 instead. But you look at that. Home against the Raiders. Now, it's interesting. Week 2, both the Rams and the Chargers are away week 2. Neither team is in Los Angeles. Who is to blame for that? The band Green Day has a concert Sunday, week 2 in SoFi. So that was the one block. So the Rams, they start their season with 2 road games, and then the Chargers get week 1 at home. Then they got to go to Carolina. But to your point, it's a nice little cushion if you think, hey, let's get this thing going and let's ride this Harbaugh train.
I did think, and I said selfishly for Fox, we know the Giants are bad and they're hard to watch. It would be great if Chicago finally rewarded us with an exciting team. Because, right now in the NFC, Philadelphia, cross your fingers, will be good. I think they will. It's a big city. NFC's got the bigger cities. But the Rams still feel sometimes like a baseball NBA market. So it's like, boy, we could really use Chicago. If I was our bosses, I would have said, can you keep it easy in the beginning for Caleb? And I looked at their schedule. They have They get Tennessee to open. No divisional gritty NFC North games. Schrags until week 11. It's like they don't face any elite defenses until week 11. Like, that is easing. Is it not easing Caleb into this?
There's a reason why the Fox NFL pregame shows beat CBS every week, and it's because it's the better shows. I mean, we have wonderful talent. Yes. It's great. It also helps that we're in markets like Chicago and New York and Philadelphia and San Francisco. We go in through all these markets. When you look at this schedule here that's lined up with you, what's interesting to me is, yes, the Titans week 1, Fox, and then you get these games in this back half, those logos, Packers, Vikings, Lions, Niners. Like, the Caleb push is going to be big in the second half, and maybe they get a little bit of a cushion here. But if I told you last year at this time that a year down the line, week 2, Chicago at Houston was going to be on Sunday Night Football.
I know.
You would have laughed me out of the game. But that is how much expectation there is for Caleb and the Bears. And it's not just Caleb. It's they're the number 2 media market in the entire country, and they're the second city for a reason. And and the next part about it is they added Keenan Allen. They added the running back DeAndre Swift. They had Roma Dunze fall to them at 9. Like, I've been prone to hyping up teams in the offseason before based on draft and free agency, and sometimes you fall on your face. There's a real expectation, and the league is showing us there's a real expectation that the Bears are going to be relevant in the second half of the season. And those games that are on Fox and those primetime games, those aren't just going to be, hey, look at the rookie quarterback get his butt kicked. No, this is going to be a relevant Bears team, seen most by the fact week 2 Sunday night, and then Thanksgiving Day, they put them against the Lions, where they could have put any different opponent against Detroit. They're like, no, Caleb Williams is going Thanksgiving.
Finally, again, Dallas, I have the same opinion on Dallas I have for 20 years in this business. They'll be pretty good. Not great, not terrible, be pretty good. I thought the schedule, though, the 3 teams they play that have unquestionably better rosters, Detroit, Baltimore, and the Niners. Schrags, they're all done by week 8. They don't have to face those teams down the stretch. I would say the Cowboys, because of salary cap limitations, aren't terribly deep. They cannot afford injuries like the Niners could, Detroit, Baltimore. I look at that as an advantage. Is I get the Niners off a bye. I get Detroit in week 6. Baltimore, I get them in week 3. So the 3 times I face really physical teams, they're off. By week 9, I'm home free on that, and it's a lot of young and average quarterbacks down the stretch, not named Joe Burrow. I thought Dallas got a fairly workable schedule. What say you?
Really interesting. So they got a Thursday night game, week 4 at New York, and then they also get them Thanksgiving at home. The Giants, I think the Cowboys would consider that 2 winnable games. Now, what's interesting to me is what you said, that, this is a team that might not have the depth of years past and has all these different contract situations, but we know week 1, Dak is out there, CeeDee Lamb's out there, and of course their starters, Micah Parsons and the rest on defense. So let's load it up front and see how we do. What I thought was interesting was Tom Brady's first game as a broadcaster, all eyeballs on there. The NFL granted Fox a single window, no doubleheader with CBS also vying for it. The CBS 4 o'clock slate is not even close to this game, and it's at Cleveland. And I'm like, well, that's an interesting deal. Like, Brady has no real connection to that. Like, why would they go at Cleveland? What's interesting is Fox also has that week 4 San Francisco New England game. I'd be curious if that's where we get Brady's connection, where he's doing a Patriots game in his hometown of San Francisco. A little off target on your question as far as the Cowboys go, but I thought the Brady aspect of Fox's schedule would be interesting. They gave us the Cowboys, which is the biggest show in town, and they got us a standalone window in a Super Bowl year. That's pretty dang cool. And I saw Strahan and Brady at the upfronts talking about how significant that is. And I think Fox should be very happy. And the Cowboys got their usual love and going to have a lot of standalone games and primetime windows.
Peter Schrager. Oh, it's fun to talk to him. Fox Sports, breaking it down. He sounds as obsessed as I do about the schedule release.
I love the schedule, dude. Dude, the part I love, it's like there's a Sting and Billy Joel concert in Vegas, and like the Raiders can't play home because of that. Like, that's the intricacies that I love. Like, what concert tours are taking up the stadiums? And Fox, we cleaned up. So as a Fox employee, I'm excited. Super Bowl, let's go.
Schrager's good seeing you.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.